Hi, it's Writing Wednesday, and I'm coming to you from my bedroom, home of my awesome built-in bookshelves, finally completed. Not quite in time for Christmas, but, you know, for New Year's. And I guess I'm using the bookshelves as an illustration to point out that if you have a dream, anything can happen, so long as you've got enough time and you work really, really hard. Which kind of brings me to the topic of my writer's resolutions for 2013. First, I should probably go back to the topic of my resolutions for 2012, because I did have some, and while I didn't post them on my blog or share them with the world, I did share them with a few friends. One of them was to take this book of mine, The Violent Friendship of Esther Johnson, which came out with Penguin Books in 2006, but has since gone out of print and the rights have reverted to me, to make it available as an ebook, which I think is a wonderful thing about ebooks authors can do with their backlist. Mainly what I found out in 2012 was that I don't have the know-how to properly format an ebook, and I don't have the time to learn. So towards the end of the year, I kind of bit the bullet and admitted, even though this is not a project I expect to make much money off of, I probably am going to have to pay someone to do this for me. So while I did not achieve that goal, I learned a lot on the way, and I can pretty much promise you that sometime in 2013, this book will be available as an ebook. So that's a goal semi-achieved. Along the top of the bookshelf, you will note a number of binders. Some of them contain the manuscripts of unpublished books. While I have a number of published books, I have, at the moment, 3 unpublished ones that are relatively recently written and are kind of weighing heavy on my mind. They're contemporary fiction, so they don't fit into the sort of biblical fiction that the publishers who've published that work of mine would be interested in, or into the Newfoundland historical fiction that Breakwater publishes. So I've been feeling for a long time that what I need is to find an agent who can help me represent those books and find good homes for them and chart the future direction of my career. In 2011 and 2012, I put a lot of time and energy into that quest. It did not, at least up till now, yield the results I was hoping for. So as 2013 starts, I still don't have an agent, and I still don't have any homes for the unpublished work. And I guess for 2013, I don't really know what's going to happen with that. I'm not sure I'm going to put as much time and energy into that as I have in the past 2 years. Maybe that needs to go on the back burner, and I just need to let things take their course and hope that one day an agent calls me, or at least wait and see till later in the year what happens. So I'm not going to be putting a lot of time and energy and effort into finding homes for my unpublished work, at least in the first part of this year. But that's mainly because, of course, I'm going to be putting most of my time and effort and energy into the book I'm currently working on. One of my goals for 2012 was to start a new project, and I did that, and I'm really pleased with the results. You may remember that at the end of November I had 50,000 words. I was aiming for more in December. I was hoping to get 75,000 by the end of December. That didn't quite work out, but I do have about 66,000, which just proves that, like the bookshelves, if you have a dream and a goal, you may not accomplish it quite on target or on deadline, but you will get a lot further than you did if you didn't have a goal. So right now I've got 66,000 words of my book. January and February are going to be research months. I'm going to be sitting down with what I've written so far and going back to do some research to fill in some of the gaps. And those gaps are what I'm going to be talking about in next week's video. The next couple of months are going to be dedicated to filling in those holes in the first part of the story and giving me enough information to move forward and hopefully finish it a few months after that. So that's what I'm going to be doing for 2013. How about you? By the way, don't forget my best book vlogs of 2012. My book reviews for fiction and nonfiction are currently posted, and up until about the end of the first week in January, I'm going to be putting in the names of anybody who likes or shares or subscribes to my channel for a drawing to win a couple books off those lists. So if you're watching this and it's still the first week of January and you haven't done that yet, you should go do that so you can win some books.